Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of John. We're in John chapter 15. Today we start reading at verse 18. Now, the first part of John chapter 15, Jesus had told his disciples that I am the vine and you are the branches. Remain in me. But now he's going to let them know that if they remain in him, that sets them apart from the ways of the world. And the world will react to that with hostility. You'll not be a part of the world and the world system if you are in Jesus. That's what he begins to talk about in verse 18. Jesus says, now if the world hates you, then keep in mind it hated me first. If you belonged to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That's why the world hates you. Remember what I told you. A servant is not greater than his master. Now, if they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teaching, they would obey yours also. They will treat you this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, well, they would not be guilty of sin. But now they have no excuse for their sin. For whoever hates me hates my Father as well. If I had not done among them the works no one else did, they would not be guilty of sin. But as it is, they have seen, and yet they've hated both me and the Father. This is to fulfill what is written in the law. They hated me without reason. Now, Jesus reminds us that if we are in him, that makes us apart from the world. And as the world rejected him and, of course, crucified him, they will reject those who follow him, who are in him. Now, when Jesus says he's called us out of the world and we are not a part of the world, he does not mean the physical world. Obviously, we live in the world. Rather, he means the world in the sense of the worldly system or the worldly values. We are not part of the worldly system of values anymore. That is a world that has rejected the way of God. That is a world that has aligned itself in rebellion. Jesus came to save us out of that. And so when we are redeemed, we are no longer part of that world value or the world system or the world way of thinking about things. This is what the church has often meant when we talked about worldliness. Worldliness simply means still being a part of the world, still thinking the way the world does, still having the values the world does. We've been called out of that. Now our values come from heaven. Now our values come from the Lord. Now our values come from Jesus because we are in him. So it says, understand that you are in the world, that is, you're living in the physical world, but you are not part of the world, the worldly system, because you have been redeemed and you're now part of the kingdom of heaven. I remember a number of years ago, I read a very interesting book called Resident Aliens. And it made the point that we live in this world as aliens. Our citizenship is somewhere else. It's in the kingdom of God. It's in heaven, as it were. But we live in this world as aliens because we're really not part of the worldly citizenship anymore. We're part of the citizenship of the kingdom of heaven. And that's exactly what Jesus is saying here. I have called you out of the world. You belong to me now in my kingdom. And so you live as representatives of me. In a sense, we live in this world as ambassadors of heaven, ambassadors of the kingdom of God. You know, in our country, the United States sends an ambassador to another country. He lives there to represent the United States. He is not a citizen of the country to which he is an ambassador. He is a citizen of the U.S., and he represents the U.S. there. We live in the world, not as worldly citizens, as it were, but as citizens of heaven, and we are ambassadors of heaven, the ways of God, and we represent God to the world. In our living, in our speech, in our demeanor, in everything about us, we live as people of the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus says, expect you'll get some pushback from the world for belonging to me. They may even persecute you because they persecuted me. They may reject you because they rejected me, but that's because you belong to me. So if we are in Jesus as branches in the vine, and we are not part of the worldly system. We are part of the kingdom of heaven. And so we live in this world as resident aliens. We live in this world, yes, but we are people who live by the values of heaven, by the values of the kingdom of God. Jesus wants us to understand that, and he makes it quite clear. Join us tomorrow as we continue our 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of John.